All right, this will change how you use AI. We're going to talk about what it's like to be the AI one percenters.
Useful Not Famous is the podcast.
Welcome back to the show. This is my radio voice. Hello.
Well, hello. Useful Not Famous is the podcast for people who care more about making money than getting likes and subscribers. I'm Amara.
And I'm Jeff.
I don't know why I pointed at you.
Yeah, you're like, this is you. Are you Amara Andrew or?
No, just Amara.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Jeff Sarris.
Hey, this guy.
Hey, bada bing. Okay, yeah. So this show's broken up into 3 parts. We have 3 5-minute segments. It's a 15-minute show that's never 15 minutes long, but we do our best. We have a little timer, and we set the timer. But the first segment is why. Second is what. Third is how. So we tell you why you want to try to become an AI 1%er. I don't know. It feels like salacious enough, but there's people who are going to look at this time in the future who are like, that was an AI gold rush. It was amazing. They had so much opportunity. People were able to just build and grow and do things that are great. I wish we had that. So by the end, we're going to make sure that you don't fall prey to that you're one of the people, one of the select few who actually benefit from this and don't squander the opportunity.
I feel like you're telling me this.
I am telling you this. What?
Yeah, it just felt silly.
Okay. So we have to
we
set
get
the
into it?
timer. Yeah, let's get right to it. We set the timer for 5 minutes. Here's the little timer on my camera. Okay, 5 minutes. So let's see if we can stick to it this time.
Probably not. But let's try it. Why?
So why is AI so important?
Well, yeah, obviously it is a very hot topic right now, and it's something that every Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Susie, Bobby, whatever is talking about. And a lot of people are either terrified of it, which makes no sense to me, or they are not using it properly. So that's really something we want to touch upon, which we'll touch upon a little bit more later, but we're going to touch upon it now.
I like the
just a
look to the
little.
camera.
Like,
Hi.
dramatic.
But yeah, most people get AI wrong because they're looking at it as a shortcut.
Yeah.
They're not looking at it. I guess most people get AI wrong because they're looking at it as a shortcut to do less work, where it's a shortcut to 10x their output and be able to not just do more work, but do so much better work.
Yeah, specifically, I'm seeing this in writing. So, like, you may or may not know, but we work with a lot of real estate professionals. Bless them, whatever. We don't do listing videos, thank God, or listing content.
I just
You
like
do.
to keep looking at the camera on this one.
Trying to connect with the audience. If you want to connect with me, watch on YouTube. Anyway, but what I'm seeing lately is, I'm just going to be very blunt in this episode because it is so incredibly infuriating and lazy, and it really looks bad on a lot of people and their business. So for example, a lot of people will post photos on their profile, which for it to highlight a listing, which already I have issue with, but we're going to skate past that for right now. That's for a different episode. But what I'm seeing in the description is it's copy and pasted from AI without any thought, iteration, soul, anything to it.
And not even a good AI like Claude.
No,
Just
it's
ChatGPT?
ChatGPT. Ugh. So, and you can tell by the way that it's formatted and the way that it looks. For examples, a ton of emojis, M dashes, uppercase hashtags. At least change that, or tell your AI like, hey, can you lowercase all the hashtags? Or there's so many different tells. And something I want to touch on is that as AI is getting more and more popular and more prevalent in our society, you can 100% tell when somebody didn't even try to remotely iterate it or make it sound more like them or sound on brand for their company, business, personal, whatever.
Yeah, and as we know and see that people are using AI and not working with it, but one-shotting is sort of what you call it, where you just say, give me this, and then you take it and put it out there. When we see that as lazy, and more of us will know as time goes on that this is clearly AI. And then this person is clearly lazy. And what do we want our clients and customers to think? That we're lazy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially as a real estate professional too, you're trying to gain someone's trust with the most expensive thing probably that they own or will ever own. So you want to really make what?
I'm sorry. Your eyes keep darting to the camera and it just has me laughing. You can just talk to me. We're good like this.
I don't want to talk to you.
No.
I'm just teasing.
This is why you watch the podcast on YouTube.
I just want to connect with you. No, but anyway, but also what you notice too in a description is a lot of people, because they're so frazzled and not focused on one thing, is you say, here is your updated prompt, or here is your description for your listing.
And it's left in the writing.
Oh my God. I can't tell you how many descriptions I've seen where it actually has that, or the formatting or just anything. TLDR, it looks incredibly lazy, and it looks like you don't care about your business, and you want someone to think that you care, at least like fake it till you make it. You want people to think that you care about them and think that you care about their house and their life and their business.
And like, I know we both believe this, but you have to care.
Exactly.
Because that's like, we know when you're faking it. So it's like, maybe fake it till you make it in terms of convince yourself that this is who I need to be, but you have to care. If you don't care about your business, you're not going to care about me as a customer.
Exactly.
So then,
and it'll come across very quickly, especially with all the AI stuff.
Well, yeah, and AI, and like you're just talking about writing, but AI is a tool to use for everything. Can be a tool to use for many things, many creative things that you would otherwise be doing. You can now take your idea to execution so much faster and be so much more proficient at it, even if you're not proficient at the exact execution that the AI is assisting with. And that's the big thing. Like you mentioned earlier, before we were recording, how ideas are sort of the magic sauce right now.
Yes. So like AI is the best time to be an ideas person, which is something that we...
Oh, time. So we're going to definitely go over on this one, but say that sentence again, because I think that didn't come out right. AI is the best time for ideas person.
To be an ideas person.
Yeah,
so
having AI.
The age of AI is the best time to be an ideas person. So I'm just going to look at the camera. But it is the best time, because something that we personally both struggle with is having all these ideas and wanting to do 7 million different things, but being slowed down by not being able to actually do it for the output or for whatever time, whatever it is.
And there's two reasons, because time is limited, but also we have extremely high standards.
Yes.
And like,
annoyingly so.
Yeah, no one knows, no one needs to know, but the amount of stuff that we do and create that no one ever sees is massive.
Oh, it's
because it's not up to standard. It's why we can't hire, why we can't outsource anything. We do 100% of everything in-house for Maven, the organic content marketing company, and for Spire, my design brand agency.
Yeah.
It has to be that way.
So figuring out how to use AI. I keep looking at the camera. What is wrong with me
don't know,
today?
it's funny.
I'm like, hi. But being able to use AI to help you get places. I keep looking at it. Using AI to be able to get places quicker is so much more beneficial and helpful, because then you aren't hampered by not only your own ability, but your own time. So like, I'm totally pro AI, which I didn't think I actually would be, especially coming from an art background. Like, I can see the hesitation with a lot of different things, which a lot of artists have. However, I really feel like which we won't go too far down this path, but I really feel like people are sort of missing the opportunity with it and being blindsided by their own passion for what it is, versus like, well, here's how I can use this to make a living and still have the passion for what I do. I don't know. It's a very interesting
It's a huge
thing.
opportunity. It is a gold rush. And if you are anti-AI as an artist, I think there's a very simple solution. Make physical art. AI currently, until AI robotics, AI can't make physical art. So that's still a complete silo that, instead of complaining about AI taking art and creating it digitally, there's things you can do, and there's always opportunity. So with this as a gold rush, we want to, I think we both agree that this feels like a gold rush.
Oh, 100%. Because it's like NFTs again, where I think NFTs will have another wave of sorts, maybe a few years down the road, but that one sweet spot during COVID and everything, that was the gold rush where you could make a ton of money or no money if you were just like, NFTs suck. And it's like, you could have made so much money that you could just retire, paint your little paintings, sell them, and be financially set.
Well, yeah, and that also is a very controversial take, but we are
I'm a controversial lady.
We're interested in what we can do in this limited time we have here, and everything has a window. If you were like, one day I'll do it, I'm gonna start an NFT project, and now it's 2025, and you're like, I want to sell an NFT. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, that's weird.
And inspiration has a shelf life, and it will expire. So when you're inspired to do something, you need to do it. I feel like you're just going to say inspire because you always do.
That's the name of his company if you have no idea.
Yeah. So there was
way over our time also.
Oh yeah, way over. Oh, I just wanted to say, but we want you to look at AI like a tool.
Me?
Yeah, you. But yeah, we want you to look at AI like a tool because it's a creative tool to achieve and execute upon your ideas. So
you always call your assistant. Which I think is a fabulous way to say it.
And like an employee. I feel like because assistant, it gets muddied. Like Siri is my digital assistant.
Yeah, right. Employee.
So, yeah.
Because we don't have any employees. So then being able to have something that is like the most, what's the word? Reliable versus just ourselves. That's like the next best thing. Because we always joke like, I wish I could clone I always joke, I wish I could clone myself and then I would have someone reliable to work with me. But
well, and it's the speed. So it's not that things from AI are correct.
Yes.
It's that.
Which is also why you need to take care to look at what you're writing.
Well, and taste, agency, and ideas are sort of like everything. So like, there's a great quote from Ira Glass. Ira Glass has an amazing quote about taste and how when you start in at something, he's the host of This American Life. When you start something because you have great taste and I want to make it. But inevitably, your taste always outpaces your skill. And you're never going to be able to create something that you feel is worthy. And that's just the plight of a creator. But with AI, we actually can use our taste and leverage it to do things that are a lot closer to what we want to do and what we know we can achieve. But the challenge is developing taste. Like, this is the 10x, like 1x versus 10x. This is the tiny sliver of people who are using AI to actually create something great and who are going to create like immense future wealth. It's because they're using it to 10x, where everyone else is just like, oh, I can 1/10x what I'm creating.
I think, and this will just wrap up the section, but because this will lead into our what, in a way. What we've been doing this week was something fun. You have a whole cute little...
Yeah, should I actually... Here, I'll cue up the timer. Oh.
Not quite yet,
We're not
because
in
this still
yet.
attaches. Okay. Don't let me... Shh. I'm going to forget it. So I'm like, I had a point. Now I'm forgetting it. But you made a little movie this week, and we're going to talk about it more in just a second. Bear with me. But what people I think are missing about AI is that there are two different modes of thought. It's either the practice, specifically talking about art-related things, just because that's my background, that's blah, 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 blah. They're missing this distinction. It's either the practice or the outcome. So for example, with the little movie thing that you made this week, which is so cute, I love it. I love the outcome of it. As someone who makes art and who has made art her entire life, I love being able to generate an image that is exactly what I thought in my head in maybe a couple minutes at the very most. I didn't have to toil over it because I want the final product, which is I want this image to exist. I don't need to have the practice of it and have that self-fulfilling, because art is inherently selfish when you go through the process. Like, it's for you. It's not really for any, like, nobody gives a shit. It took you 25 hours. It's like, cool. Okay. Can I have it? But I want the outcome of it. So I want the finished product, and I want the movie that you made. Like, I want to make my own now. I don't want it to take me 17 years to do it. I don't want to have to learn how to do digital art personally. Granted, I have other art mediums that I do just for fun because that's fulfilling to me, but I'm not worried about the outcome as much. It's more the practice of it. So I think that's something that's sort of missing as well in the discussion is, okay, well, I'm using AI for the outcome, specifically for image generation and things like that, not for the practice of it. And you can, but that's just, I think that's what's missing.
Well, you're practicing your taste.
Yeah.
So it's you're generating images quicker, much quicker than you can on your own, but you might be generating 5, 10, 50. Like, it's not going to necessarily get it right, especially if you're very specific in what you want.
Yeah.
And then if you want to take it a step further, like I did with the short, which I think we'll dive right into that right now.
Yes.
I'll put 5 on the timer. This time we will stick to it. Here's a little timer.
Probably not.
But so what I did is a little short film. It's like a
What's it called?
3D animated, a little Pixar inspired in the style, and it's called Picture Perfect.
It's so cute.
And it's a 16-second short film that I made in one day, about 3 or 4 hours total. But the process of doing it is so much fun. And it's being able to create something that I never would be able to otherwise. But what matters is the idea, and then the execution, the iteration, the different ways that like you approach it. You get a different product. Like if I made it and it's just us moving around, like a one shot of like, oh, I type it in, make this, and then I'm like, here, look what I did. It's like, I didn't do that. AI did that. But I spent hours working with it, refining the idea, refining what it is, and there's a punchline and payoff at the end. So it actually, I hope, is satisfying to the person who gives it 16 seconds to watch.
Well, yeah, it's like working in clay almost, or some sort of stone medium. Like you're constantly refining. You're in macro data refinement. But yeah, you're chipping away all the slop and sludge and everything to get to the little gem that you want, that you see in your head, that it's just substantially quicker.
And this comes down to communication. However I said it earlier, I missed communication. That was the key part. Is our most valuable skill with ideas is then communication. Whether it's business, us to clients and customers, us to our marketing and sales, us to AI tools that we're using. If you can effectively communicate, you can do anything now.
Yeah, you can. Believe.
Yeah, it's just so important. So
yeah, you had fun making
I mean, it's so much fun. If you want to, you can just look up Picture Perfect. My name, Jeff Sarris, or just like look at Jeff Sarris on every platform. It's there.
It's so cute. I love it.
And it's fun because I also got some critical feedback in the middle of the night. I woke up to a bunch of sort of hate about it, that it's people who don't like AI art. But that also just reinforces this distinction that we're talking about here. There are people who are creating things, people who are going to define new art. I'm not saying what I did with this is new art at all, but people are going to use this as a tool, like a camera. Like cameras were invented. They didn't suddenly mean paintings are gone. It didn't suddenly just
But people thought so.
Yeah.
And they were hysterical about it, which is psychotic.
Well, yeah, and VHS tapes were going to ruin the movie industry. No, that's just a different vertical again. Like everything changes and evolves, and you can't try to fight change. Change is scary, but you cannot try to fight it because it's a losing battle. You want to adapt and evolve. And sort of where we always live, that's why NFTs came up earlier. That's why all the different things come up, is we're interested in the future and interested in what we can do with the tools we have now. And we have more tools at our disposal than anyone in human history. Creative tools have never been so accessible to anyone ever.
Darn toot. Speaking of, what have you been up to this week besides that?
What have you been up to? Because together we've been doing it, but
yeah, we were filming with people, 2 different clients, which was really fun. It was my first ever client and actually my most recent client, which is kind of fun.
That's funny. Yeah.
I just realized that as I was saying it.
And they're both local.
Yeah, which is perfect. So then we don't need to travel anywhere. We can just stay in our little bed at night, and it's nice. I don't know, get to be a tourist in our own area. But yeah, we were filming, lots of editing that I need to do.
Well, and we've pivoted our strategy for socials.
Yes. So we have a Maven account. So our business is What is Maven. We have an account for that. And we've always kind of struggled, what do we do with that exactly? Because we come from a personal brand sort of viewpoint. And that's what I was doing before Maven, was all personal brand related things. And that's what you've done, is building brand.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, not just personal, but brand in general.
Yeah. So then it was like, okay, well, now we have this account for our business, but everything for us sort of falls under our own personal accounts because we already had those established as well. Starting a new account for the business, it didn't quite match well. And we're not on the Maven account to temper it, I guess, for lack of a better term, like prime it for being something for people. So like you need to sort of prime your account for your audience, which is something we're going to talk about again in another episode. But we don't really use that account. It's just dead for all platforms. So then it's like, okay, well, this isn't going to get quite, it isn't quite what we want it to be. So we're actually probably going to just completely wipe that account.
Well, not even wipe it, but
and just have one video.
And I just wanted to say it pulls us from focus.
Yes.
Because
it
we're like,
becomes more complicated and stressful.
Yeah, we're trying to jam it in.
Yeah.
When the human side of it is what matters the most to us.
Yep. Time. Wow, that was actually a shockingly long 5 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah, we've tried to jam in the Maven accounts, and we realize I don't follow any brand accounts. Do you?
I have, but then they'll pop up in my feed, and then I'll be like, why am I following this account?
Yeah.
So like a couple I was following because they were posting updates or like news about a certain thing that was going on in the moment. But then afterward, I was like, I actually don't care.
Yeah, so people follow people. And finally, we're
Yeah.
just like, why are we trying to force this? Let's start using our personals. So now, like, I made that little short film, and I've posted a bunch of different stuff about making that. And then
Yeah.
what are you doing?
A lot of different things. I'm trying a bunch of different things.
Well, things you find interesting, though. It's not just a spray and pray, let me see what works.
No, like it's very specific and targeted, just to sort of see what I like.
Like what?
What do you mean? What are you getting at?
What'd you record today?
I recorded a Get Ready With Me. So yeah.
Hold on 1 second. 3,000 feet.
Isn't it beautiful? If you know what that is, we can be best friends.
Uh-huh.
But I started doing Get Ready With Me's because it's something that, okay, so I want to try to do a specific type of content that I personally, it isn't my favorite, but I want to try to make it work for our business. So like videography, content creation, all that kind of stuff. So I want to try to, I love TikTok. I'm just going to come out and say it. Like that is my platform through and through. I can't
You're the
stand,
only one that does. Nobody uses that platform.
most people prefer Instagram. However, TikTok is my jam. So I love TikTok, and I am always, not always on it, like on it for like maybe an hour total.
Yeah, relative to
How
much you use social media.
which is, anyway, I digress. But I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out, okay, how can I make this work for our business? And I want to try doing a little bit more with like trending sort of stuff, because I tried that the very first time I was on TikTok, and like it did well. Like it did well relative to vanity metrics, which is just views and stuff, but did it do well for a business? Fuck no, it didn't do anything. So I want to try to do that again and see sort of how that can work for us, and see if I can actually, it's more of a creative challenge, I guess, for myself, and using TikTok and trending things as my medium to see if I can then parlay social media, content creation, videography into the trending things. So I don't know. It's just a fun thing. So I did a Get Ready With Me where it was like, get ready with me to go film content with my client, or film content today. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And again, this is useful, not famous. You're not doing it just because you want 1 million views. You're doing it to see how useful that can be to us and anyone else. So this is the
like,
catch.
I like the study of it
And the
to
challenge.
see. Yeah. Cause like, this sounds conceited. I know I can do it. It's just, I want to sort of prove that you having 1 million views. I mean, I have millions of views, and what does that do for my business?
Well, yeah, no one who actually,
Nobody knows.
yeah, no one
And who
knows
cares?
that we work with how successful your social media has been in certain arenas.
Yeah, no idea at all. In multiple different arenas.
And we
but
don't use that as leverage because that's not what we're selling.
No, because also I don't care. But I want to try to do it again to then now in this context where we are, show you don't need that and it's pointless. So anyway, TLDR.
Well, and to prove a hypothesis. Like we
Yes.
have hypotheses and we can't prove them unless we're testing.
Correct.
So we are always testing. Okay, so on to the how. The most there you go. How does she at 24 years old not know how to drink water without spilling?
Are you embarrassed of my age?
Let's
dive deep.
I was like, I knew if I said 39, then you would. No, just kidding.
I'm not
joking.
old. That just pissed off so many
You're
people.
32, I know. But I knew if I said that, you'd give me some flack. So then I didn't, and then I can't win. Okay, 5 minutes on the clock.
Sleep with
Let's
one eye
see.
open, Sarris.
Where's the clock? Let's go.
Sleep with
5
one
minutes
eye
on the
open.
clock.
Gripping your pillow tight.
Exit. Oh,
And
people
it's
love that.
karaoke.
Okay, so we're on to the how. So how can this be used for you? So I just wanted to break down quickly.
AI. I was like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
What does it mean to 10x what you're creating? Real quick, in relation to doing this little short film. Again, it was 16 seconds. It's nothing huge. However, I used 4 different AI tools. Each.
What did you use?
I'll explain that in just a moment, but
Fine.
I used 4 different AI tools, each for very specific purposes that served my needs. So I used Claude, ChatGPT, which is huge for us to go back to ChatGPT, but there's a reason. Claude, ChatGPT, Sora, and Suno. So Claude for the writing process, and that is working through my idea to get it into a storyboard. Okay, now we have the idea. Let's get this into a shot list, a shot-by-shot list of what we need to create for this film. Then ChatGPT, which we don't like ChatGPT for writing. Claude is amazing at it. Claude is a human. ChatGPT, though, suddenly this week is amazing at images. It is amazing at what you can do to create images. So now you take the shot list. Well, before the shot list, I put together a bunch of reference material for what you and I look like and created a 3D model of each of us. It takes iteration. It's not a one shot. It's not make this and it's perfect. So then I created characters that look like us. Okay, now let's use those characters and go through this shot list and let's one by one, let's create shot 1 using those characters, create shot 2. So then I go through my entire shot list and again, iteration, making sure the shot is what I need, because you also need to plan ahead that we're not really animating. We're doing little bits of motion. Like in a movie, in a TV show, there's not a ton of motion in a single scene. So how do I recreate this and make sure I can take these photos, give them enough motion that it feels like full animation, like a movie? Then once I have all of those in place, I went to Sora, and Sora is a video AI platform from OpenAI. It's not the best, still going to try some other ones, but I was able to get what I needed from there. And then finally, Suno. Suno is a music creating AI that I've been using since I just realized like June, because I have so much fun with it. And eventually I'll actually release all these songs that are pretty catchy. But did all of that, and then Photoshop, Final Cut to like edit all the clips together, to do like a cover art and all these different things. But that's how you use tools to 10x what you're doing. It's not there's one tool that suddenly I'm going to write a sentence and have this output of something amazing.
Yes.
So how do they translate that into what they're doing?
That's what I was just going to ask you. How would you recommend that people use AI? Specifically, I guess we could talk about real estate professionals. So people that we know, or not even personally, just in the space.
I want you to go into that because, for social content specifically, what are ways people can use it? Because this is obviously your lane. You're spending all of your time here.
Oh, yeah. I live here.
Yeah, it's how...
Here.
Literally. But it's what we do for people, is everything 100% done for them.
So people can use it throughout the entire process. So from the beginning, from ideation all the way to posting, basically. But I don't think anybody actually is using it correctly or well. So for the ideation, like we talked about earlier, like you still need to have the original ideas for what you want to make. So let's say you ask ChatGPT why the fuck you're on that.
Yeah, just go to Claude. If you're doing any sort of ideas in writing, go to Claude. But anyway.
Let's just say Claude, so I don't have a conniption. So if you go to Claude and you're just like, give me 10 ideas. I'm a realtor in Bethesda. I can't think of anywhere. I don't know.
I'm a realtor in insert city here.
But if you do that, then I feel like it's more likely that you are not going to get a unique video prompt, because there are only so many inputs for the AI. So you then are going to run the risk of not having unique content from other people, which, granted, our model, you don't necessarily need to have super unique content, but if you're using it, you can use it for the ideas, I guess, but if you're using it to script out exactly what you're going to say on a video, absolutely don't do that. 100% no, because it's going to tell you what to say the same way that somebody else is saying it in your exact same market. Like, that's not good and that's not helpful for you. Sorry.
Well, and I just want to take this right back full circle to the employee. If you say to an employee, give me 10 video ideas, and they're just like, here's 10 ideas. But if you gave that employee a framework, I want, wow, well, this is a long episode.
Yes.
But if you gave that employee a framework and you said, I want 10 long form YouTube video ideas that will engage people in my local market. My local market is this. Here's everything you need to know about my local market. Now, what are 10 ways I can create engaging video that will not only get people interested enough to click, but also have them stick around?
And be evergreen, because that's also something really big for us.
Yeah, and these are just like, this isn't a script of like how to prompt. This is just conceptually, how can you work with AI better?
Yeah. Well, yeah, having the basically, okay, so what I would recommend to you specifically is focusing on your prompting, your communication skills, because also a lot of real estate professionals, bless them, not great communicators at all. And that's fine. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. Focus on communicating so overly well with your AI, and I guarantee you'll have better success with getting better prompts, responses, answers, and things like that. So at the end of the day, you should focus on your ideas and focus on what it is that you actually want to create. Be very, very thorough with the AI, because remember, they have no idea what you're asking them. It's just like me. I have no idea what you're thinking right now, other than, wow, look at her.
See, you just read my mind all the time.
But we have no idea what the other person is thinking, just like the other AI has no idea, or other AI. I am not AI.
Beep, bloop, bloop.
That is why I like it. But what's
La la la
la
la
la
la la.
la. I was like, what are we doing?
We're gonna make the YouTube a must watch, but it's still audio first. But it's gonna be a must
Darn
watch.
tootin', woo! So, but you need to be very clear, and same with writing descriptions then as well. You need to tell it exactly what you want it to say. So even something that I found has been successful for people, say, because we talk to people all the time about how to do things way better, tell them who you are, what you love. Like, even if it doesn't make sense for the video, still describe who you are as a person, because then the AI has a better model like of who you are, so then it can write it to sound more like you. So if you're a mom, you do yoga, like I know it sounds kind of crazy, but genuinely giving it that much detail helps tremendously, because then it's like, okay, or even if you have samples of previous videos that you've done that are actually you speaking, or even just like a voice sample or whatever, then it can like make a transcript, feed it, and then be like, okay, now I want you to write it sort of in the same style where it's conversational yet casual, but still like a travel channel host. Like, that's something that I've tried, and like that actually works really well for certain types of content. So anyway, you need to be very, very, very clear about what it is you want. And maybe that's the problem. A lot of people don't know what they want. They want somebody else to think for them, and that's fine, I guess. I don't recommend it, to be fully honest. I was like, oh, that's fine. No, it's not. You need to know exactly what you want, because otherwise then you're not going to get a good outcome. Your content's going to look very lazy, and it's just not going to be good.
Yeah, or you hire someone who everything they do is all of that for you.
Yes. Who? Sir, you can't do that on YouTube. Stop flashing the people.
But yeah, like for people who don't have the time to actually do it, that's why we have Maven, and it's soup to nuts, 100% done for them, from idea creation through hooks, through filming, through editing, through posting. All of it's done, and that's on purpose, because we all have...
It's exhausting.
Yeah, and we have where we want to devote our time and energy. And for us, we can devote our time and energy to helping other people, and that's fulfilling for us. That's the business we created, and it is not cheap. It is a high-ticket item product, because it's a high-ticket item that we're delivering. But
it's also not that expensive.
So, but that's the thing. It's not at all. Like if
that's
you
what
start
I want to be
thinking,
very clear on.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, like, if you want to create something great, you can do that for people. And it's sort of, how can we be as helpful as possible and so overly useful to that person that they look at it and they say that's cheap. Where Your audience isn't going to be the one who looks at it and says that's expensive. It's like, I like to think of us as we're not cheap. It doesn't mean we're expensive. We're so much cheaper than having an employee, let alone two, that will do exactly or less than what we do and have way less experience because you're doing 4,000 videos a year.
At least.
Yeah.
So, with that, use AI, love people, use things.
Well, that'll be until Josh. Wait,
He's
Josh
gonna be
actually
like,
was
"What are
here.
you doing?"
Hold on, ready? Love people, use AI, because the opposite never works. Thank you, Cleveland. Good night.
I'm going to text you and be like, what in the actual hell?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.